What is going on, everybody? John Impemba here with Andrew Cooper. Welcome into fantasy football season, week 9. Here, Coop, we made it. We're here. How we doing?
I'm doing great, dude. That's how I've been keeping track of how old my daughter is. It's her birthday is whatever NFL week it is plus 5. So happy for week 14 to my daughter Lainey. Shout out to Lainey.
There we go. Yeah, listen, it's been a kind of crazy week with the bye weeks and some of the matchups that have been going on. Of course, we're tracking this 9:30 a.m. Germany game here where the Chiefs are kind of running away with it. A little bit of a funky defensive touchdown just scored here where Tyreek Hill fumbles, and then the Chiefs pick it up, and they have a lateral, which they end up taking back for a touchdown here. So some interesting stuff to kick us off here. And what feels like an awkward slate in terms of matchups, but maybe still a fun day of football ahead of us.
Yeah, I love a good lateral, and I actually just learned because I tweeted these fans in Germany probably watch enough rugby to not even be impressed by that lateral. I actually just learned from a lot of my German followers that Germany not a big rugby country at all. So you learn something new every day.
Well, these are like a dominant soccer team, right? So maybe they're just really into the football,
They like our football too. Yeah, all the footballs. But yeah, just you learn something new every day. So and Heather our producer Heather wants to know if I have a lot of German fans. Apparently I do. Apparently I have a couple because immediately 5 different people from Germany that follow me said,
"Did you hit up Germany on your honeymoon?" I forget where you went.
We didn't. No. I wanted. So that one I'm saving for a boys trip. We got to do one of those, Johnny, and go out and do like an Oktoberfest and a soccer game and stuff. A football game. But yeah, I still got to do that one. And I know you guys are more in the Baltic area.
Plan it down the road when the rest of us have for more available free time, Coop, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
October is kind of tough for you and I.
Tough for us, man.
German Spring Fest.
Yeah,
we'll do a little Sound of Music trip. How's that sound?
Exactly. All right, let's get into it. A lot of you people are already in chat. We love to see it. Good morning to everybody here. If you are popping in and haven't yet liked the stream, please do so. It helps us out immensely. Boosts up our show here on the Twitter algos or the YouTube algorithms here. And can help us grow what we're trying to do here at Fantasy Alarm. So like and subscribe if you could, very much, and thank you. Coop, let's get into some of these questions here, and we'll continue to promote some cool things we got going on here throughout the day as well. First question, Coulter says he doesn't have a question, actually. His dad does, though. Mixon or Stevenson?
Mixon, baby. Let's go. I mean, Mixon, here's the thing, dude. People, you'll have analytics Twitter, and they'll come and they'll attack players like Mixon, and they'll say that, oh, he's not efficient, and the stats say he should be scoring more fantasy points, and his expected numbers are all higher than his actual numbers. Well, guess what? I just care about the actual numbers, and this guy is the full-time back for what should be a good offense. So Joe Mixon to me is a guy that I'm going to be starting every week unless something changes and he stops playing 70% of the snaps for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's going to be somewhere in my lineup every week. So get Joe Mixon in there. Tell your pops, Mixon, and don't worry about it.
And listen, as the offense gets better, as Joe Burrow gets healthier, there's just going to be more opportunities for Joe Mixon to score. So I agree with you. I'm in on that one. Should we start Moss or Foreman?
Oof. So Moss is a better matchup. So if it's going to be split down the middle, I think I'm going to go with Moss because Moss still does get a little bit of the pass work too. We watched Foreman last week. I don't think he played a single pass snap, John. So I think he's just going to be a plotter moving forward, which there's a world where that works, but I don't trust it. Not against the Saints either.
I'm with you there as well. Stevenson, Gus, or Henderson in a flex PPR?
It's gonna be Gus, right? Gus against actually, I could be sold on Stevenson, John. You in this situation, I don't think I would go Henderson with a backup QB. So it's Stevenson or Gus, John.
I'm gonna go Gus Edwards. I think here, even though the Commanders obviously lost their 2 best defensive pass rushers here, they're still kind of stout in the middle there, and we've seen Ezekiel Elliott get the red zone work. So I kind of worry that on Stevenson. While last week I was like, yeah, you can play Gus if you like 8 fantasy points. He needs to score. Well, he scored 3 times.
Right.
So
Zeke has, I know.
Now you know the ceiling that Gus Edwards has. So
what is the ceiling at? Zeke has 2 touchdowns the last 3 games. Yep. So you know what? If you're going to bet on a anytime touchdown, I actually don't hate the Zeke line there.
I agree. Lewis here wants to know 1 point PPR running back into flex. Henderson, Jones, Dubs, or Ford?
I'm going to go away from Henderson here for the same reasoning. I do kind of like Dubs, man.
So, see if this changes your mind at all. McVay came out and says they are ready to unleash Aaron Jones after a good week of practice. He played 50% of the offensive snaps last week. I have to assume, using the word unleashed, we get at least 51% of the offensive snaps this week. So, I actually kind of like Aaron Jones here this
Well,
week.
here's the thing. It doesn't change my mind because I was gonna pick Aaron Jones. He needs
Okay,
another one though. So we got to pick between Dubs and Jerome Ford.
sure.
I like the matchup of Ford versus
Yeah,
Cardinals.
against Arizona, I'm there. I'm there. I'll go
Yeah,
Jones and Ford.
Jerome
Last
Ford.
week Kareem Hunt got a lot of the work, but Jerome Ford actually ended up picking up some steam there later on in that game. He still finished with like 9 carries and a couple of catches. So
Yeah, he kind of retweaked the ankle a little bit. I went back and watched that game again. He retweaked the ankle a little bit in the second quarter, and they took him out. But at the end of the game, he played 22 of the 40 snaps, and in the second half, and Kareem Hunt only played 7.
yeah,
So it was all Jerome Ford for the second half there, and I'm sure that's how it's going to roll into this week too.
yeah, I like Jones and Ford here. Daggers running back in a flex. Chuba, Cook, Addison, and Downs. We're waiting obviously on the Downs news. Addison with the rookie quarterback. Don't know what's going on with Cook with Buffalo. Is Leonard Fournette going to be active today? Question mark. And then Chuba Hubbard, the starting running back for your Carolina Panthers.
I know, dude. It pains me because I'm a big Miles Sanders fan, but Chuba's kind of in a great spot. They say he's the starter. He's getting all the work. So Chuba's got to be in there. I really am worried about Addison. We got a lot of Addison questions so far. And if I can avoid it, I am, because not only is it Jaron Hall, but there's a good chance he could see a lot of AJ Terrell today. And that is a scary proposition for me. So I think I'm going to go Chuba and James Cook. I normally would say Josh Downs, but I mean, he's a true game time decision. That scares me
So
a little bit.
you'll have the benefit of knowing if Downs is active. Do you play Downs over Cook?
In 23 minutes, we will know for sure, right? Or
Well, they're a
no?
4 o'clock
Oh,
game
they're a
today.
4 o'clock game. Yeah.
So
I think,
you'll know. Cooks is the late game. So
yeah, I think I do. I think I do play Josh Downs.
okay, so if Downs is active, we go Chuba and Downs. Obviously, if Downs is inactive, we're going James Cook and Chuba here. Lewis wants to know half PPR need a flex. Cook, Dubs, Freeman, Downs, and Dell.
I like Romeo Dubs today. I mean I think this is going to be a nice little get right game for the Packers. I think the Packers could honestly win this game. They're favored to win,
Yeah,
because of the quarterback situation. But I like Dubs here.
there's been a lot of sentiment this week on Jaden Reed. What are your thoughts on him?
I mean, Jaden Reed to me he's like a discount version of Josh Downs. Be- There, he's the odd man out for 2 wide receiver sets, but they run a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. So you see with Josh Downs, like sure he's playing fewer snaps than the other guys, but he's still playing like almost 80%. And Jaden Reed, they're treating him that way, where he's playing well enough. It's just the fact that he comes out for the 2 tight end or the fullback or whatever, that caps his ceiling a little bit. So I
Sure.
still like Jaden Reed. He's a good player.
Richard wants to know: do we go Sam Howell against the Patriots or Deshaun Watson going up against the Cardinals here today?
You're the QB whisperer, Johnny. What do you think?
I think I'm gonna have to go Watson here, but I don't love it. I don't know. The Patriots at home, Howell gets sacked a lot. I think that there's
Pats are favored.
potential for that there.
Yeah.
So
And I'll tell you, I mean, it's like Watson picked his spot to come back pretty
I think
well
he did. Yeah.
with the Cardinals here. So yeah, it's Watson. I mean, they're favored by that line. Once they announced Clayton Tune was starting, that line skyrocketed. It's almost
So
it's
I was
almost
doing a little
14.
bit of a deeper dive on that one here last night. So if you go over to DraftKings Sportsbook or BetMGM Sportsbook and you look at team totals, the Browns, we're trying to figure out like what the even money lines are. The Browns have scored 24.5 points, was like minus 115, where the Cardinals to score to get like a minus 110 line was 12.5. So they're basically suggesting that the Browns aren't going to score more than the Cardinals aren't going to score more than 2 touchdowns here, where they're saying you might get 3 touchdowns and a field goal out of Cleveland here today. So
Disgusting, dude.
kind of liking
Disgusting.
that. It's an underline. It's a 9.5 total. So I think Watson can maybe throw a touchdown or 2 here today.
And if you guys want to see the math done, if you go over to fantasyalarm.com, in fact, right now is the best time to go and get a membership at Fantasy Alarm, because we've got a promo going right now where you can get a yearly subscription if you go to fantasyalarm.com/ lock and get it for $16 a month, which is the cheapest it pretty much has ever been. It's usually $40 a month. So there you go. Hit that QR code right now, the promo code right now. If you go over to our DFS Tools Hub, where there's a ton of stuff, the lineup generator, the matchup report, everything, practice report. If you go to the Vegas odds tab, over there, it does the math for you for implied point totals, right? So you look at the spread and the over under. And if you do a little algebra there, you can figure out how much each team is being predicted to score, right? So, for instance, in this Chiefs Dolphins game where it was a huge over under and it was only a line of 1.5 or so, each team was projected to score 25 or so points because there's 50 points in a 1 point spread, right? That's an easy one to figure out. But some of the other ones aren't so easy. If you go over there and check that out and go down and check out what the Arizona Cardinals are expected to score, it is, as John said, brutal. It's it's
11 and a half, 12 and a half points.
Yeah, it's right in that range. So you can go right over and you don't have to do the math yourself. You can go check that out. So hit that QR code right now. Get set up with Fantasy Alarm if you aren't yet. You get all access to all our tools, all our stuff, not just for football, for every sport, all our DFS picks, all our plays, basketball, baseball, NASCAR.
Hey,
and
guess what? Our MMA writer, Mike Iannone, took down another GPP
again, dude.
He won it again. The $8 hook in the first place for him again. That's like his 6th takedown of the year. He puts out banger content. He had a low-owned Angela Hill last night in the playbook, and I was skeptical. I was talking to him in the Discord. I'm like, I don't know, man. Every time I play her, she kind of hurts me here. And he's like, she's going to outclass this woman. Put up 120 points as a low rostered play. Took down the GVP. Man knows his stuff when it comes to MMA. So
that's like the third time. That's like the third time he's taken down the $8 hook.
I think it's his 6th this
year. Well, there's his 6 on everything, but the $8 hook specifically, that exact contest, he crushes that contest. Yeah. And our NASCAR writer Matthew Sell has been the NASCAR writer 3 out of 4 years. NASCAR Writer of the Year, FSWA awards. So it's not just football. You're getting everything, and you get it all for next year too. It goes all the way around to your fantasy football, fantasy hockey, fantasy basketball drafts next year because you get the full year. So get set up with that now. But enough promo codes, enough QR codes. Let's get some questions.
If you guys are tuning in, though, we appreciate you. He'll give us a like and subscribe to the channel and the stream here. It'll help us out immensely. Back to these questions here, Coop. Let's see, where did we leave off? I think we had Hubbard and Myers where we're at for Richard.
That was the next one, yeah. And I'm gonna go with. Oh man, I kind of think I would go Chuba here. Myers has been so solid.
People were worried because Aiden O'Connell, the last time he started, he threw to Devontae Adams 15 times. He threw to Josh Jacobs 13 times or whatever. Trey Myers didn't get anything. He got no love in that game.
And I'll tell you what, if you want to lean into narrative street, let's go through the list of what guys were Josh McDaniels guys and what guys weren't.
Is Hunter Renfrow going to start over Jacoby Myers today?
I wouldn't go that far, but I'm just saying, right when McDaniels got fired, Jimmy G got benched too. And Jacoby Myers is a McDaniels guy for sure. So I just play it safe with Hubbard here. I think Myers going to be fine.
You want a pretty interesting prop here today. Josh Jacobs, 3.5 receptions is at -105. I mean, again, he had 8 catches in that game that Aiden O'Connell started against the Chargers. So just kind of keep that on your radar here today. Tyler S. half PPR pick 3. Thielen, Flowers, Amari, Douglas, Nakua.
Well, you got to start Adam Thielen. He's a super mega star, right?
Megastar. And again, only 6.5 catches is his prop today. Man goes over that on a weekly basis here.
Yeah, and I'm also going to start Amari Cooper against the Cardinals. I think that, that's just an easy enough matchup. I know that it could be a blowout, but you still got to score the points in a blowout. After that, it's a little more foggy. You've got Zay, and again, these last 3 players are more full PPR than half PPR players, which is why it's easier to start some of the other guys. But you got Zay Flowers going up against the Seahawks, Pop Douglas, Demario Douglas going up against Washington at home, and then Puka Nacua with a backup quarterback. I think I would lean Zay or Pop, John.
Yeah, I'm going to go Zay here. I think there's just more upside. Listen, we like Demario Douglas, but we like Demario Douglas because the Patriots are so bad on at the wide receiver position here, but Flowers should still get plenty of looks. Are you worried about Witherspoon? I guess Witherspoon could be his man here today, right? Or does he play more to the slot? Flowers, not Witherspoon.
Flowers does play a lot of slot, but Witherspoon doesn't really shadow anyway, so I think he's going to be fine. And Flowers, he's the only guy besides Mark Andrews running a full complement of routes. Right. The other guys all rotate, so Flowers is pretty trustworthy.
Sure. Ann says, good morning. Skinny saying Coop Troop here. Ed wants to know standard league scoring. Kenneth Walker, Kareem Hunt.
Kenneth Walker. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
the volume's going with Kenneth Walker. They're going to run that one out there. Russ wants to know 1 point PPR. He has downs. He's starting Singletary, Akers, and Musgrave. He wants to know: do you start Singletary, Akers, or Musgrave in the flex? Probably have to go Singletary with the starting role, right?
Yeah, he's starting. He's going to get the bulk of the work. Damian Pierce isn't even playing at all. So yeah, I'm going to go there. Even though
If
it's not
Downs is active, well, I guess we won't know before Singletary plays, right? Does Singletary at 1 p.m. or 4 p.m.?
1 p.m. I think I'm just starting Singletary
Yeah, just play
regardless.
Singletary. He'll get some pass down work. That's fine. Foreman or Gallup in a PPR for Ann?
I think I'm going to go Gallup, right? I mean, it's kind of tough because Gallup's now kind of the third fiddle, but Foreman is on the bad end of a split. If Foreman doesn't score a touchdown, then it's ugly for him. You know, what do you think, John?
Yeah, I'm looking at what did Gallup do for snaps last week? He went from
Third.
70 to 51. Well, they were also up 25, so like 30 most of that game. I'll go Gallup. I think they're going to need some offense here against the against Philly today, and he'll be on the field in those 3 wide receiver sets for me.
Yeah.
Archie, he just traded James Cook for Jerome Ford, but doesn't know how he feels. What do you think about that trade?
I don't think I like it, actually.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's probably okay. I mean, we just don't know what Leonard Fournette's going to end up being on this team, or if he even has a role. Latavius Murray gets red zone work. I haven't been the biggest Jerome Ford guy. He's not been an efficient runner, but he's a big play guy. You look at his longest runs in games or catches, they're huge, and it makes up for a lot of his yards, and then sometimes he scores on them. So I think both are probably boom or bust. Cook probably has a little bit more of a consistent role here, but you know.
no, I'm with you, dude. Like, and that's the thing is that like
It's a running back for running back trade too, which
right.
is weird. You know, it's always weird.
I don't like those typically because it's like, what do they know that I don't? But
Right.
but the thing is like Jerome Ford realistically is going to be in a 2-man split at best, and James Cook could be part of a 3-man split with a quarterback that's capable of stealing the touchdowns at any given time. You know,
Yep.
so yeah, I think I do like Ford. He's safer, I would say.
Half PPR for our guy Nish here. Cup, Addison, or Gabe Davis today?
Man, I'm definitely not going to go Addison with that crew. I think I'm just going to stick with Cup, and
Yeah, just the Cup.
I like Gabe Davis more than usual this week. I think, shootout. These are the games where these are Gabe Davis games. Big games is where he shows up and scores a touchdown. But I mean, Cup is still Cooper Cup, and I think that the offense is going to run through him regardless. They still have to play the game.
Yeah, and Ruby's throne is not like
He's fine.
He's not
he's been around, right?
Yeah,
It's like
he's played NFL games. It's not like he's a rookie quarterback here.
there's a reason. There's a reason he keeps getting jobs, right?
Right.
Like he can play. I'm going Nico.
Agreed. Joshua here, got 2 for full PPR. He's starting McBride already. Do I start him or drop him and start Logan Thomas?
So, Josh, I'm gonna be posting my updated tight end rankings right after the show, and I'll tell you this: because it's Clayton Tune, I moved Trey McBride down from tier 4 to tier 5. He's gonna be, but so before I had him, in like tier 4. Now for me, I've moved McBride behind Logan Thomas, behind Jake Ferguson, behind.
It's just the uncertainty of the rookie quarterback, right? It's not necessarily the matchup, right?
No, the matchup's bad too. He's going up against the worst. The toughest defense versus the tight end, both in DVOA and just raw points scored. The Browns are the toughest matchup for tight ends as well. Sure. So it's kind of coming from both sides there for McBride. So it's pretty bad.
Are you dropping McBride knowing Kyler's back though? I mean, he has to either start McBride or drop him to play Logan Thomas.
Oh no. Then don't drop McBride. Don't drop
because you're going to get Kyler Murray next week, and that should be better.
Yeah, you just got to hold your nose and play him. If the options are drop him or not, then yeah. If you could drop somebody else for Logan Thomas, I would do it. But yeah, don't.
Sure. And then he's got a flex question: Nico, Flowers, or Downs?
I like Nico.
Yeah, Nico's fine for me against Tampa Bay. I'm good on that one. Latavius Murray, Miles Sanders, Keontae Ingram today for Ann.
Why not Keontae Ingram? Right, Amari DeMarcado's out. Correct.
Yeah, Damian Williams is inactive as well. So I said this to Bender. It's like maybe he gets 3 catches, to help offset the 30 yards rushing that he'll have.
Right, and we've seen it. We've seen it before that some of these defenses that are quote unquote good versus the run, you can still escape with a touchdown, with a receiving touchdown, right? Like you watched Alvin Kamara went up against the Jaguars, who were good against the run. He only caught 14 passes, right? Jerome Ford had a terrible matchup earlier this year, and he caught
rookie quarterback. They could just make easy throws through screens and all these things, right? A lot of checkdowns coming his way, maybe. So
Sanders doesn't even play as of right now, and Latavius Murray
may not play again. We don't know. I don't think we've seen any Leonard Fournette status, right, Coop?
Yeah. No, I think he's probably going to be inactive. But even then, like Latavius Murray is such a touchdown coin flip. Latavius Murray and Zeke Elliott are, what you're getting.
Sure.
You know.
Our guy Dan wants to know Heineke or Love. I'm going Heineke here.
I like Heineke too. Yeah, Heineke. There's a lot of those like kind of dead zone QBs. I kind of like them all. Like I like Minshew this week. I like Heineke this week. Derek Carr has a great matchup this week. Like this is an easy week to find a quarterback and a tough one to find a tight end.
Some interesting props for the Falcons wide receivers here today. You and I talked about Van Jefferson and his snap share on Wednesday, and then I brought it up to Bender during the DFS show because he's super cheap over there. Bender immediately went to the sports book. You see Van Jefferson plus 130 for 2.5 receptions here. Bijan's only at 3.5 receptions for this game. He's gone over that every game, but really just one last week here. So if you think Heineke, capable of throwing down to Bijan, throwing to Van Jefferson here, some low reception prop totals here for some guys that should be pretty involved in the offense today.
Bender and I have entirely too much money on Van Jefferson catching 3 passes today.
Yeah,
it is like not way. I don't know, way too much, dude. Like that, obviously nothing crazy, but like more than I usually bet on.
71% of the offensive stats, Scoop. You don't never. He had 3 catches on 5 targets, so we'll.
That's what I'm saying. But like, it's like usually I will go big on certain players, but usually it's players that I trust and I like.
Yeah, like backup tight end receiving yards. We get
$50. Hey, that hit. 3.5 yards. 1 catch for 6.
Scammers is saying he is going to go ahead and need the Dolphins to be better. Yeah, they're down 21-0 still, but they are doing a little bit. Cindy, Superflex League. Love Howell or Herbert needs to start too. Or you definitely started. Listen, I know it's a tough start for Justin Herbert, but you're not going to bench Justin Herbert. And I'll go Howell over Love, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. The over-under for Justin Herbert is still like 244 yards. It's not like they're sitting at 200.
And we all know that Keenan Allen's about to torch this New York Jets secondary here, Coop.
So. I don't know. If you check my timeline, dude, Jets Twitter has gotten a hold of that too.
Yeah.
But I look at it, I say, okay, 244 yards is the over-under. Let's say he goes under. Like, let's say he throws for 220 yards.
Yeah.
No Josh Palmer. Quentin Johnson is going to be on the outside where Sauce Gardner and those guys live. I mean, how does he even get to 200 yards if Keenan Allen doesn't have 77, right? It's like –
I didn't know there was that many Michael Carter fans in New York and not the running back, the slot corner.
Michael Carter, too. He's a good player, though. That's the thing is at no point did I say he's bad. In fact, I said he's not bad. But I'm saying that the outside guys are better. Plus, this team plays more than 50% of their snaps out of zone anyway.
And
so
you keep throwing the numbers out there of all the slot receivers that have just torched this team. Like, nope. That wasn't on him. It's like
wasn't on Michael Carter. I was like, I don't care. That's the same thing with the Alontae Taylor. He's like Alontae Taylor. People are talking what he gonna do to me. I'm like, dude, the bet was 4.5 receptions for Josh Downs, and he had 7.
Maybe
right?
the problem is you're being too general, but in that case, the Jets, when you weren't being general, or you were being general, you weren't attacking Michael Carter. You were just saying slot receivers versus the Jets. You called out Alontae Taylor in that tweet, but he still hit.
He still hit, dude. And the thing is, and the fact of the matter is that, this is what's put in their mind in a pretzel is that a lot of them are like, well, Diggs had a bunch of yards, but they got the L. I was like, I got money on the Jets to cover the spread too. Go Jets, right? Like, let's go Jets. Like,
I'm talking about simply the receiving yards prop for Keenan Allen.
Receiving yard prop for Keenan Allen, and I want the Jets to win, right? And then they're like, oh, okay, whatever, I don't care then. So it's just like, it's funny.
Your
Sometimes
ability
you get
to rile up fan bases, Coop, is unrivaled by many. George wants to know Hawkinson or Kincaid for a half PPR.
I'm starting Kincaid for sure, dude.
Yeah.
Hawkinson, you got a backup quarterback in Jaron Hall, and Kincaid not only has the entire role right now, but the Bengals are the stone worst team versus the tight end. They're giving up the most points to tight ends. They lost both their starting safeties this offseason, Jesse Bates and Von Bell, both gone. I mean, Jesse Bates is now on the Falcons, who's Hawkinson's going against. So, yeah, give me Kincaid. I mean, and Hawk, That's the one situation where you're not starting Hawk, because the only other guys I have ranked ahead of Hawk, you don't have both of them on your team, right? Like you don't have Kelsey,
Right.
Andrews. The only situation, George Cook is in the very rare situation where he has Hawk and Kincaid. So
because he took Hockenson early and drafted Kincaid,
and then
late,
Jeff Kincaid. Yeah. I mean, you're rich. You're rich at the tight end position. You're splitting hairs here, but
and
like,
good on you and holding on to Kincaid for this
right.
long too. Most people would have dropped the second tight end by now.
Yeah, everybody else is
Carr or
starting
Howell, gonna go Carr here for you, and Singletary or Ford here, Coop.
Ooh, that's actually a tougher one, and that's one where I will go Jerome Ford because he's going against the Cardinals is a better matchup for him. Singletary, we like in like a worst case scenario, we like him. We also like him in DFS where he's only 4,300 on DraftKings, but he still has a tougher matchup, right? Ford has the cakewalk matchup versus the Cardinals, so I'm gonna go Ford.
I agree with you 100% here on that one. Tyler wants to know Freeman or Alexander for running back.
Alexander Madison, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Is there another Alexander running back?
I don't know. Sean Alexander, he retired like 15
back?
years ago. Well, I don't know. It's like
Royce,
Alex
Royce
Collins. What do you say?
Royce Freeman or Alexander Madison?
I'm going Madison.
Okay. Superflex, Ramondre Stevenson or Daniel Jones?
I think you still just start the quarterback, right? I'm scared. The big concern for Daniel Jones is one hit, and he could come out of the game.
The biggest concern for Daniel Jones is no Darren Waller. I don't.
I'd say that's a second base. The concern that he was waking up and he couldn't feel he had numbness on the left side of his body is the biggest concern.
I've been looking for Max Crosby sack props and I haven't been able to find any, but I kind of want to get some action there. I might go Ramondre here. You don't always have to start a tight end, quarterback in the super flex. So
yeah.
Ferguson or Schultz in PPR?
Ferguson. Yeah, his usage has improved as of late. We hated him when he was only playing like half the snaps. The last couple of games, he's played more snaps. In fact, everyone was moving him down after the one catch game, and I was moving him up because he was playing more. It's like the underlying stats are much more important. So I actually do like Ferg this week.
Russ wants to know Musgrave or McBride in 1 point PPR.
Musgrave versus the you can throw the tight end on the Rams. They're one of the bottom tier guys there.
And wants to know Brian Robinson, Roshan, or Singletary.
Here's where I go Singletary. That's where I go Singletary. If you're going to have part-time guys, you might as well go with the full-time guy.
Yep. Kincaid, Moore, or Addison in a full PPR?
Ooh, man.
Feels like Kincaid. Why would you go away from Kincaid?
I don't know. Yeah, he's getting 8. I just sometimes with players like
that.
About
the Cincinnati secondary missing their safeties for.
I know. But it's just sometimes I have to take a step back and make sure I'm not being biased sometimes with players that I like, you know what I mean? So I had to think to myself, is this my bias or is this actual where we're at? And I mean, he's getting 8 targets a game. So Kincaid.
Kincaid is the auto play there for me as well. Aaron Jones, Darrell Henderson, Puka Nacua need too. Again, I'm buying in on the Aaron Jones coach speak here that is going to be unleashed. So it's Henderson or Nacua, both Rams players for you here, Coop.
I think I would just go Nacua. I think running is usually the luxury of the winning team. I think that they're going to have some trouble today with Brett Rippey. And I'm surprised that spread's only 3.5 on that.
I agree with you. I with a backup quarterback and everything here. Hill, Ingram, or Freeman?
I think I like Keontae Ingram to get the full work. I mean, it's a bad matchup, but he's the only show in town, right?
That's kind of how I'm looking at it here as well. Let's see here. Anytime touchdown props here for Smokey the Cat. Anytime. I think Jonathan Taylor, I actually on the Better Sports betting show, I did Jonathan Taylor first touchdown for plus 500. You can get his anytime touchdown for minus 160. So I think Colts get the ball. They move down the field. Taylor gets in the end zone. There it is.
Yeah, I kind of like, honestly, I mentioned it earlier. I do kind of like that Zeke Elliott anytime touchdown call.
Zeke Elliott anytime,
touchdowns in 2 out of the last 3 weeks. Patriots are favored to win this game for the first time in a while.
What we got for what's the payout on the anytime Zeke touchdown here?
It's probably not even that high. It's probably like plus 300, plus 400.
Anytime touchdown, it's probably lower than that. Let's see here. Zeke Elliott, of course, everything always moves so slowly when you don't need it to here.
Of course, yeah. I mean,
anytime touchdown for Zeke is plus 205. Ramondre is plus 115. There's not a single player in this game that has a minus for the anytime touchdown there. So Alvin Kamara is minus 140 today. Hunt plus 115, best odds on Cleveland. We were talking about him earlier. Again, that red zone work. Aaron Jones plus 135. JT is the minus 125 anytime score. His first touchdown's up to plus 550. So again, I kind of dig that one. Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown minus 105. They think the 1 yard tush push is getting it done here. Yeah. George wants to know, need two. Adams, JT, Aaron Jones, half PPR. I'm not going to say Devontae Adams when he got 19 targets from Aiden O'Connell the first time.
Right. Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs basically said it's us or them, and them all got fired this week, right?
So yes, they did.
We're liking Devontae Adams. JT versus Jones is very difficult, and I think even with the Aaron Jones narrative, I think I like Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jonathan Taylor. Listen, I brought this up to Bender. He still was unsure about it, but the Colts head coach took a lot of flack for giving Jonathan Taylor one carry in the second half of that game since they lost to the Saints when he had 90 yards in the first half. They were basically being like, why did you play Zach Moss over Jonathan Taylor? He's like, oh, well, Moss got a big run there in the first drive. We just want to ride the hot hand. They're like, Taylor had 90 yards in the first half. He didn't think he was the hot back. And he kind of got super defensive after the game there. So I wonder if they kind of lean more towards Jonathan Taylor in this one, knowing that, probably playing Moss over him may have been a mistake there. And Don wants to know, do I drop Sanders for Keontae Ingram or Royce Freeman?
Oh, I'm holding.
Probably. I mean,
no.
Why not?
Because when Keontae Ingram is going, James Conner's.
You can do it for Royce, maybe.
No, I'm just going to hold on to Miles Sanders and hope he gets right. The thing is, he's in Deuce Staley's doghouse right now, which, we've seen DeAndre Swift get in that doghouse too, but you can get out of the doghouse, right? I just don't think Royce Freeman's ever going to be awesome, and Keontae Ingram's going to be dust when James Conner is back.
What if you have to win this week, then?
Well, if you have to win this week,
we're week 9. Fantasy football playoffs are literally 5 weeks away. So
if you have to start a player in the lineup, then you drop Miles Sanders and you start Keontae Ingram.
Yes, that's kind of where I'm at.
But if it's a bench move, then you keep Miles Sanders.
Sure. Howell or Carr? Going Carr for me here.
Mm-hmm.
Herbert or Minshew in the super flex. Gonna go Herbert still. I'm not just gonna bench a talent like that.
Make a DFS lineup with Minshew.
Yeah.
Affordable.
People actually kind of like Gardner Minshew in DFS today. If you go look at our ownership projections, so
I like him.
Yeah.
I like him, John. You don't like him?
Well, I don't know. I mean, listen, I understand we attacked Carolina last week, and they were coming out of a buy-in at home, and they shut down Houston. And we're like, but they were missing so many people in their secondary. But sometimes scheme also just plays up over talent at points. So I don't know. I agree with you. I kind of think that offense is good, but they might just run. They might just run the football against them. Because that secondary still looked pretty good. Graham here reflects 1 PPR. Lockett, Singletary, or Dell?
I'm going to go with Tyler Lockett.
Lockett against Baltimore here today, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I think that game is hopefully going to bail us out on this slate because it's like the Cowboys-Eagles game. That's a good game.
Yep.
But I'm looking at either the Bird game with the Seahawks and the Ravens or the Colts-Panthers. One of those games I'm hoping is decent.
I'm hoping it's Tampa Bay and Houston.
Yeah, that could. I mean, at least they have their starting quarterbacks in that. I mean,
quarterbacks. The receivers are fun. That's what I'm hoping for here.
In every other game, I'm saying every other game, you have a backup quarterback. You have the Vikings are starting Jaron Hall. The Bears are starting Tyson Bagent. The Rams are starting Brett Rypien. The Raiders are starting Aiden O'Connell. It's crazy. The Cardinals are starting Clayton Tune. I guess the Patriots game. Washington and New England are starting their quarterbacks, and then you have the Bucks, Texans, and the Seahawks, Falcons. Like the rest of the games, you got backup quarterbacks.
Vikings starting left tackle is inactive today, so
that's great.
Less good news for Jaron Hall there.
I got money on the Falcons to 3.5 points to cover 3.5. So
for Graham here, we're going to go Aaron Jones over Ramondre Stevenson.
Yep.
This has got to be a troll question for you, Coop. Taysom Hill, Stone Smart.
That's funny, Scampers. You're the man, Scamp. Stone Smart, anytime touchdown today. Lock it in. I think Gerald Everett's back. So Stone Smart didn't even do anything with his 50%
Taysom Hill
snap share. Yeah.
We had a lot of Taysom Hill questions in the first show this morning with Brent and I. We were saying play Taysom. They have red zone sets for him where they bring in a defensive tackle to lead block for the man. So
yeah, and don't forget he's going to throw a touchdown pass at some point too.
Yep.
This season may not be today, may not be tomorrow, but he will throw.
He still threw to him a couple times last week as well, so he's not like
he didn't catch any of them. They threw to him once, he didn't catch.
He might catch this week. Yeah, Watson or Minshew, I would probably go Watson.
Watson, yeah. It's tough, but you got to go Watson against the Cardinals.
Scammer saying that was for Scott Fishbowl, so we're still going.
So that's a real question. Yeah, no, Stone Smart.
Play kicker. Drop Stone Smart, play kicker.
Play kicker. Play Taysom Hill. Stone Smart did play. He did run 20 routes, and Donald Parham ran 24, but Gerald Everett's expected to play. So
Michael Wilson ruled out today for the Cardinals. I don't know if that helps Trey McBride for you at all.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. It's still you don't want to run him up against the Browns.
Taysom talk.
There it is. There's the Taysom talk.
I feel like I missed one here. All right, here we go. Brad wants to know Godwin, Kenneth Walker, Jacoby Myers for a flex.
That's tough. I think I would go away from Myers in this case. It's either Godwin or Kenneth Walker, and it's probably Kenneth Walker.
And the volume, you're all running up against Baltimore, though. I think I'm going Godwin.
Yeah. And I mean,
PPR for Godwin. He found the end zone, I think, last week, a week before that. So.
Right. And there is a narrative to be built here where Zach Charbonnet got pretty much all the pass work, all the 2-minute drill work. Now, Kenneth Walker was banged up a little bit, but he might have carved himself out a role. I mean, there were definitely quotes from Pete Carroll where he was kind of pumping up Zach Charbonnet. So there's a possibility that Kenneth Walker could still be nicked up and Charbonnet could still get that pass work. So I'm with you. We'll go Godwin.
Addison or DJ Moore today? This is a unfun question. This might be DJ Moore, honestly.
Yeah, we've been steering away from both these players, but I think I would just go with DJ Moore. I mean, DJ Moore is going to get Marshawn Lattimore. Addison's going to get AJ Terrell, but I think as crazy as it sounds, I trust Tyson Bagent more than Jaren Hall. Jaren Hall is the quarterback today that I trust probably the least of any, because not only, let's think about the narrative, right? Not only is he a rookie, but they also went out and traded for a quarterback. So they could have had confidence in Jaren Hall and said, this is our guy. He was the backup. He's going to be the guy. They did the opposite. They went out and said, we don't have confidence in this guy. We're going to trade for somebody. So I do not trust Jaren Hall.
Yep. I'm with you there. And wants to know our thoughts on Leonard Fournette. I mean, he looked great in that photo they showed. I have to imagine he's going to be part of their offense at some point. I would assume, given the relative ineffectiveness by Latavius Murray, that Fournette could take that role there. So,
for those watching the Dolphins game or the Dolphins Chiefs game, or those that don't have the game, Cedric Wilson just caught a pretty deep touchdown pass, and he made it look easy, maybe a little too easy. 31 yards.
Because I have Tua in a few leagues, and it was not going well for me in those leagues this week with Tua as my quarterback. So happy to see the touchdown come there for sure.
Maybe got away with
a sneaky live bet on Miami down 14 here. What do you think, Coop?
Nah, maybe got away with a little bit of a push off there.
Yeah, that's fine. We don't care about push offs here.
No, we don't.
We only care about points on the board. So
that's right.
Hal says, good morning. Dylan got a couple of cues here. Slightly projected to win. Full PPR, wide receiver, Hollywood, MT, or Downs.
I think, I'm glad that you put in slightly projected to win, because I think that makes me comfortable starting Michael Thomas. He's got the nice floor, like you say. Downs is banged up. I mean, you know what, Dylan, you did the analysis yourself here in the chat. Like you broke this down pretty well. And, sometimes you just need a second opinion. So we agree with you, Michael Thomas there. Cause Hollywood, if he had Kyler Murray or Joshua Dobbs, then maybe, but Clayton Tune against the Browns. Nah.
Yeah, good. And Keontae or McBride here.
It's Keontae.
Yeah,
I do not like McBride.
Okay.
I don't like McBride this week. I've moved him. When Clayton Tune was announced the quarterback, I moved him down.
I mean, Clayton, but Tune's obviously the quarterback for Keontae Ingram here as well.
Yeah, I mean, but he can. I trust his ability to hand it off more than I trust his ability to throw.
Okay. Dylan wants to know again, starting one more question, full PPR running back, Ingram, Charbonnet, or Gainwell?
Not Gainwell. Not
I think
Gainwell.
I'm going to Charbonnet here. Or
Yeah.
well, I guess I'll see. Ingram's the full-time running back here, but it is going up against Cleveland.
Right. And Sharbs, I'm buying in that Charbonnet has carved out a role. I'm buying in that he has that
Seattle's
2
a
minute.
6.5 point home road underdog here. So if they
Right.
trail, you could see Charbonnet on the field this week.
I think we're going to see Charbonnet, before halftime and also at the end of the game here.
Agreed. Andrew wants to know for a DraftKings contest here, Chuba, Rashard, or Stevenson here. I like Rashad White this week. The Houston Texans ranked dead last in DVOA against running back pass plays. Rashad White over the last 2 weeks has 13 catches on 14 targets. So I think from the PPR value, Rashad White's going to be there. But also, Houston's one of the worst run defenses in football. So if there was ever a week where Rashad White might find success on the ground, it could come this week. So and to all of that, Tampa Bay is actually a 3-point dog here. So Rashad White for me this week.
Yeah, I like it too.
Skinny wants to know Singletary or McBride. I think we're going Singletary based on your comments here.
Mm-hmm.
And then Danny, Dolphins fan here. Gabe Davis, James Cook, Amari Cooper.
I do like Gabe Davis this week, but Amari Cooper with Deshaun Watson going up against the Cardinals just feels really safe. Feels really nice.
I like it. Hal wants to know Minshew or Mayfield.
That's a tough one. I think I have Minshew ahead, but I will defer to John on
I'm
this
going to go Mayfield. I like the weapons there. I'm a sucker for Mike Evans. So
I'll change my rankings then.
Mayer or Musgrave here is we'll talk. Musgrave. I go Musgrave here.
I'm going Musgrave. Yeah, Musgrave's got the matchup with the Rams. The Rams have not done a good job covering the tight end this year. So
if you had to go Granson or Musgrave in DFS today,
I like Kylan Granson.
I know he's in your DFS coach, but I'm just wondering thoughts on Musgrave here.
Yeah, because the team has been absent a true pass catching tight end. It's why I bet on Will Mallory to have a catch essentially last week because when Will Mallory only played 10 snaps, but he ran 9 routes. He only does the pass catching role, and that's what Kylan Granson does. These other guys, Drew Ogletree and Mo Alley Cox, they, especially Mo, really just kind of blockers. The guy we're really stashing if we have an IR spot is Jelani Woods, but Kylan Granson, when he's out there to catch balls. So I don't mind Granson in DFS at his price. In a real league, there's a lot of guys you rank ahead of Granson because he doesn't play the whole game, but he's at least running routes.
Great. Scammers wants to know Giants, Patriots, or Vikings defense. I'm playing the Patriots everywhere today, Scammers. So
yeah, I mean, that's the thing is the most predictable part of defense in fantasy football is sacks, right? Like that's the one thing that we can say that we can predict. Like turnovers are just hard to predict,
He has he didn't sack 50 times this year.
It's crazy. It's crazy. He's dropped back more than any other quarterback in the league. Sam Howell has more than Patrick Mahomes, and he's only actually gotten a pass off on 83% of those dropbacks. So almost 20%, more than a quarter of his dropbacks end in a sack, him throwing it away and it not counting as an attempt, or him scrambling. That's pretty crazy. That's like Justin Fields. That's Justin Fields level.
Yeah, it's not good. Dan wants to know Thomas and Nakua here today. I think we're all Thomas.
Thomas, yeah. Don't trust Nakua. Nakua lines up primarily outside, and he's going to get Jair Alexander. He got a backup quarterback. It's really not a good spot for Nakua.
Hawkinson or Hill in a 1-point PPR.
I'm still starting TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm with you there. And Hal wants to know for a pick'em, are we doing Pats or Commanders? I mean, you're asking two Patriots fans here. So is it spread related? It's 3.5. I think it's 3.5, right? So
yeah. I'm gonna pick the Patriots.
I still feel like the Patriots should be better than the Commanders.
I want the Patriots to lose. The Patriots are the only team in the AFC right now that doesn't have 3 wins, and it's like I can. The quarterback is so close. Drake May and the gang, they're so close that I can.
Do you think Caleb Martin crying to his mom in the stands last night hurt
Caleb
Williams rather?
Yeah,
his optics.
It only hurts the optics for the hardos out there, man. For me, it's like, you know what? He's passionate about the game, dude, and he's still a young guy, man. Like, you know what?
He also has a horrible record against ranked teams,
right? Yeah,
which probably also isn't good either.
That I care about. That I do care about. That him actually playing poorly is what I do care about.
So he actually played great last night. His defense gave 51 points, but or 50 points or whatever. But still, I saw a lot of people tweeting about Caleb Williams going over to his mom in the stands and crying into her arms after losing a game. It's bad.
those college games, I just have to say, those college games are so wild to me. When I go and I look at
The stats.
the stats, dude, every player in that game was averaging more than 7 yards a touch.
Yeah.
Even the running backs are averaging like 8 yards a touch. I'm like, how does anything get done? How does anyone get stopped? I mean, if every player on your team, every wide receiver was averaging 15 yards a reception, every running back was averaging 7.7 yards a carry. It's like, how does anyone ever get stopped? Right?
They
It's
don't.
just they don't. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
of course they don't. Like you saw the score of that game, but it's just like it's crazy. We look back on these games and we're like, and we got to evaluate. It's tough, man. It's
Well,
tough
it's why they look
evaluating
at
these
some
games.
of those guys coming out of these spread offenses like Texas Tech and Houston and all that stuff, and they're like, well, they threw the ball 85 times a game, so their
Right.
7,500 passing yards, isn't as impressive, I guess.
Right. And the hash marks are this wide, so you can run these crazy plays.
Yeah,
The lineman can go 3 yards downfield on the RPO. So I can, as a quarterback, hold the ball out, right, to the running back, and the guard is screaming downfield and actually like making contact with the linebacker 3 yards downfield, and then he can pull it back and throw. If you're a
yeah,
linebacker, all through, as a kid, safety and linebacker, that's what they tell you. They tell you if the linemen are coming, then it's a run play. In college, it's maybe it's not. It's
yeah.
just college football is crazy. I love it. It's fun to watch, but to analyze, very difficult.
Scott Fishbowl, do we go Aubrey, the kicker for Cowboys, or McBride?
I'm going kicker, man. Aubrey.
Kicker. Any good prop bets for us? And I got a whole bunch of prop bets. If you go check out my underdog fantasy video on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page, there's 5 of my favorite plays here today. A couple of them that I do like. The John Taylor rushing yards at 67.5, going over on that one. Coop and I talked earlier in the show. I think the whole Fantasy Alarm family is in on Van Jefferson over 2.5 catches here today. We're hoping we're going to fly with that one for sure. And then what was the other one that I had that I was there?
I've got one while you think of it.
Yeah.
So I'm only putting 2 in. I have 3 total bets in. I have a bet on the Falcons to cover the spread. I have a bet on Van Jefferson to have more than 2.5 receptions. And much to the chagrin of all of the Jets fans in the entire world, I think Keenan Allen can still have like 80 yards receiving, even if I think the Jets going to win the game. So actually, I do have a bet on the Jets too, but that's tomorrow night. But yeah, tomorrow night, Keenan Allen over yardage. He's going to be running out of the slot where guys have had success. And there's also the narrative that he has a milestone where if he gets 70 yards, he surpasses 10,000 yards for his career. And these guys are well aware of these milestones.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the Gronk highlight from when he was telling Brady he needed one more catch for his $1 million was going viral this past week. Everywhere it was funny just because of Tom. He's like, I need one more. I have to get a real job.
right.
Yeah, okay, Rob. And sure enough, they just run this short little flat out. Brady throws it to him to get his money. It didn't even really matter on that one.
I've seen a game, the Steelers against the Jaguars a few years back. The game was over, effectively over. If the Steelers took a knee, the game was over, and they ran one more play and they threw a screen to Antonio Brown and he ran for like 5 yards and then they took a knee, right? And everyone was like, what the hell was that? It was because Antonio Brown had this like streak and he was kind of a head case with stuff. He had a streak where he had 3 receptions. It was like 3 receptions and 35 yards in every game going back for like 4 years.
Yeah.
And he said, I need to keep my streak. And they actually risked the game, right? If it was a backwards pass, it could have been a fumble. He could have fumbled. They risked the game when they could have taken a knee to get this guy his numbers. So
Didn't the Ravens have the 100-yard rushing run streak that they still did too, like a couple years ago?
Yep. Exactly. They could have taken a knee and
Ran
they
the
ran
ball
it.
at the end of the game just to get the 100 yards or whatever.
If you don't think these players and these teams are thinking about these things, think again. So Keenan Allen, I trust him to get those yards. And if he doesn't get them, it'll be even funnier because then every Jets fan will come back to my timeline and
you'll get a little. That's fine. You know what? Coop's getting paid by X. So
exactly, I get paid by engagement.
He'll take the ad revenue there. Twitch gang in the chat, I think for the first time today. Nakua or Lockett for you, Coop?
Oh, dude, it's crazy. I didn't even have the Twitch glasses ready because the Twitch gang's been absent today, dude. What's up, man? SJM carrying the water for the Twitch gang, and it's Lockett for me. I like Lockett. I mean, both guys, if the quarterbacks were healthy, I think it would be fairly close, and I think I might pick Nakua, but in this case, I'm going to go Lockett because the Ripien, dude, the Ripper, the pride of Boise State, don't trust him. Not one bit.
Agreed. Coop, we got the better cast for tonight's Sunday night football game here. Bills, Bengals. Pre-game questions are available. You can check all of those out. When you download the free BetterCast app, you can scan the QR code right now on the screen. Goes to your iTunes and Google Play Store. Download it for free. Answer your pregame prop questions like, over under yards on Josh Allen passing, Joe Burrow passing, receiving yards. Get those 10 pregame questions answered. And then during the game, hang out in the chat with myself, Coop, Britt, Howard Bender's in there as well. And watch the game with us. Be in the chat, react to live action, answer the questions that pop up during the better cast, and you're having an opportunity to win some tickets that you can redeem for prizes like autographed memorabilia, jerseys, and a lot more. Completely free to play. Sign up and download. Got to be 18 or older to participate, but scan that QR code right now on the screen.
Yeah, and even better, make sure you get in today for the game tonight, but tomorrow night, Howard Bender's taking over the app. He's doing the Bender cast, the Jets-tacular. I guess he's going to have some guests on. He knows some fairly famous people, some members of bands, some members of the sports media that are Jets fans or Chargers fans. I think our own our guys are going to be popping in and hanging out there. So it's going to be a good time. Get in there, get that downloaded now, man. It's going to be a lot of fun for the Jets-tacular tomorrow night.
Yeah, the Bender cast here.
There it is.
Here it is.
Yeah, special guest.
Little fish background, little Howard Bender cast here. So go hang up with Howard Bender for tomorrow, of course. But you can download the app today and hang out with us Sunday Night Football, Bills, Bengals, and then you already have it downloaded. You don't need to re-download it. You're ready to go for tomorrow, hanging out with Howard Bender in the BenderCast chat, watching the Jets game. It's going to be a lot of fun. For everybody that's going to be hanging out there.
I'm sure Edward Rouse will pop in, right? He's a Chargers fan.
He's a Chargers fan. Yeah, he'll be in there for sure answering those pregame questions. I'm great with the pregame questions. I'm terrible with the in-game questions.
Me too. Yeah. I honestly, when the game starts, I just want to chat. Like, you know what I mean? I obviously answer the questions and, but I just want to hang out.
I'm doing too many things. There's a big NBA slate tomorrow. So I have too many screens going on. I just miss the questions while they happen. Dude Love here. Hopefully Mankind, Mick Foley popping in. QB Nightmares, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, Aiden O'Connell, Taylor Heineke. I'm going to go Baker Mayfield.
Baker, okay. I was leaning Geno, but what's the narrative on Baker here? You seem to, I think, based on some of the questions you've answered, you probably have Baker around back end QB1 range.
Yeah. So here's the thing: there are currently 3-point road underdogs. So expectation here is that they're trailing, and I think that the wide receiver talent that Baker Mayfield has here with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and the fact that the Texans are so bad against running back pass plays as well, also sort of just continues to open up sort of that potential for him. I think you also have Cade Otton in your DFS coach this week, do you not?
Yeah, I do. I think Cade Otton played 50 of 50. He ran, so they dropped back 53 times last week. He ran 50 routes, and he's gotten 6 targets in back-to-back weeks. I think Cade Otton is a pretty serviceable player. Definitely a player I want to roster in my dynasty leagues because there's a lot of rumors going around. I mean, Mike Evans himself said, if I don't have a contract by week 4, that I'm going to be gone next year. And I didn't see a contract. Did you? So rumors Mike Evans could be gone. There's always rumors with Chris Godwin. At some point, a window could open for Cade Otton to be a top 2 target on this team. So I want to make sure to get him stashed up.
Yeah, I agree with you there 100%. We're getting some of the inactives finalized here, Coop. For Patriots news, Keyshawn Boutte is inactive today. So I guess that's looking like we have Pop Douglas, Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyquan Thornton, Jalen Reagor as your wide receivers for New England today.
I'm telling you right now, go over to whatever your preferred DFS platform is, get a lineup in there with Pop Douglas. Get him in there.
What are your thoughts on the tight end spot here today? Does Hunter Henry become more valuable today with the lack of receiving options?
So the thing is, they're replacing slot snaps, so it could actually be more snaps for Gesicki. I mean, everybody gets a boost when you lose the top pass catcher, so I think everyone's a little more valuable. Hunter Henry, the thing he does great, so he's a good blocker, he's okay route runner, but the thing he does really great is he's really good versus man-to-man. Surprisingly, in the red area, especially one-on-ones, he does really well. That's why he's a touchdown magnet. We always, there's a hunter in the hen house. We do the whole celebrations when he does it. But so he's more of an anytime TD bet for me. Hunter Henry, anytime TD, I do like. Now, if anyone wants a special play this week for tight end, and I mentioned this on the SiriusXM show, I go through, and when I do my just like everybody else, when I do my my tight end article, I not only look for good matchups, but I shop prices. I look at the percentage of your budget that you're spending on these guys, right? FanDuel always you have to pay up on FanDuel for tight end because they don't give you any discounts. So I go through and I check it out. David Njoku, right? If you play on Yahoo at all, David Njoku on FanDuel is 9% of your budget where he should be priced. He's almost 8% of your budget on DraftKings. On Yahoo, I don't know how this happened, but he's only 5.5% of your budget. The minimum price on Yahoo is $10. He's $11. That's basically the equivalent of if DraftKings had David Njoku priced at like 2,600, 2,700, where the minimum is 2,500. So do yourself a favor and make one David Njoku lineup on Yahoo if you play over there.
Yeah, I agree with you there. 100.
I mean, we got guys like, if you talk about minimum price, like think about the guys, John, you see on DraftKings that are like 2,600, 2,700. This guy has 7 and 8 targets the last 2 games. There's nobody down there getting more than 4 targets.
I have Njoku in a lot of teams. I was in my locked DFS tight end for most of the week until I started playing around with some salaries, and I went in on Granson because I just needed the bump down there. I just got another touchdown in this game, Coop.
I needed it bad. I needed that.
I said, should we have bet the live line on Miami? You told me no. Well,
I said no.
Rushing touchdown.
What was the line? What was the line at the time? Because you were looking at it, weren't you?
I didn't. I asked if once they scored that touchdown, if it was worth doing the live line. Now they're down only 7 after Raheem Mostert touchdown run there. So
I'll tell you, it's good. It's good for the sport. It's good for the sport for this to be a good game. I always, with the international games,
line. You have Dolphins plus 325, only down 7. Coop. That's momentum. Our momentum is going the other way.
You should have.
I was probably looking at like plus 1,000.
I know you should have bet it earlier. Some idiot told you not to. Right?
I know.
I needed that Raheem Mostert.
Be my friend. Danny, we did answer this one. We liked Amari Cooper here.
Amari Cooper, yeah. I do like Gabe Davis. I'm on my for your showdown slates tonight for the night game. This is one where I'll be willing to play some Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis shows up in big games. He shows up in these shootout games. I could see a Gabe Davis touchdown tonight.
I just put a quarter on the Dolphins here, so we're gonna go see if we can get a little live action line here. Not that they're making a bit of a comeback. It's always tough betting against Patrick Mahomes, but you know what? Why not? Hal wants to know McBride or Otton.
Yeah, I actually moved Kate Otton ahead of Trey McBride. That's one of the players that I moved him ahead of. So yeah, I'm gonna post my tight end rankings shortly after the show. I always update them on Sunday with all the happenings and the movings from when I put them out on Thursday. So yeah, we're gonna do an update there. Trey McBride's gonna move down behind about 6 players, and he's one of them. John, I got to ask you, the ones that I wasn't so sure about was Gerald Everett, because he's kind of a part-time guy in general anyway. He's going to play. I don't know if it's hard to say McBride versus Everett. That's kind of where I draw the line.
I'm still going to go Everett.
Yeah, me too.
Got a quarterback, no Palmer. You don't know how that's going to end up working out for him. Last question here, Puka or Lockett?
Lockett. We answered. We had that same question already. I'm going to go Lockett. What's wrong with Lockett? People don't seem to love Lockett, but Puka with a backup quarterback or Lockett? Give me Lockett.
Yep, agreed. All right, guys, good luck in your NFL Week 9 fantasy football matchups. Get in the Fantasy Slam Discord if you have any other questions. Our team in there, Kev Tompkins, Dan Malin, holding it down, getting you guys ready till roster lock at 1 p.m. For now, guys, we will catch you all next week. See you then.